And that's how I went. All right, mic check.
Testing.
1, 2, check.
It's the best I've ever sounded.
You do sound good. It's just the interference that bothers me. He's Tim. I'm Ronnie. All the good names are taken. Podcast, day 14, Tim. Today, we're talking In the Mouth of Madness, John Carpenter. Some people say it was his last classic masterpiece. We'll get into that later. How's your October going?
October's going great. Days 1 through 13 have been thoroughly enjoyable. So I'm really excited about 14.
This is where I think it picks up, Tim, because if you're just looking from an analytics standpoint of days 1 through 13, the one thing that really hits me is, damn, those 2 months they took off in the summer really hurt viewership. Here's the real deal, Tim. Everybody that supports the channel, all the members, they're loving it. They're commenting. They're having a good time. And let's face it, we really just do it for the people that give us money, right?
I'm only in it for that dude from Australia, whatever that guy's name is.
Hoops.
Hoops.
I think we have multiple people from Australia. You have done 31 days with us forever. You did it when it was the audio podcast.
Right.
You've done it since we moved over to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Do you prefer when we're really, really organized and get it done before October? Or do you prefer like last year when we got half of it done and then use the first part of October to get the last part of October done? Or do you prefer it like this year where we're so far behind, we're day to day?
I think I prefer this year. Yeah. You always go with where you're at. Always live in the present.
Well, here's the problem with this year. Since we're going literally day to day, unless we hop on, and this might be an option for us, Tim, for the last half of the month, instead of trying to record and then edit, maybe we should just hop on and do live reviews, and then they're already there. We do the hour, we do the 30 minutes, we do the 5 minutes, or the 2 minutes like with 2000 Maniacs, and then we're done. We're out of there. Everything's great.
For that, you froze up for about 10 solid seconds, but if you said what I think you said, then yeah, let's do that. Let's just go live.
I wonder why I froze up.
Oh, you get nervous?
Am I froze now?
No, you're good. Everything's perfect.
We're going to have a signal from here on out. If I freeze, you have to scream, freeze, like Mr. Freeze does, like Schwarzenegger does.
Like Schwarzenegger freeze? I need to practice. Guys, how does he say that? No, he doesn't say freeze. He says, all right, everyone, chill. All right, everyone, chill.
Everybody, get ready for a freeze.
We'll do that. That's the thing.
So, 1994's In the Mouth of Madness, starring Sam Neill, one of my favorite actors. I couldn't tell you why, Tim. I just love to see Sam Neill on my screen. I loved him as Dr. Grant in Jurassic Park. I like it when he pops up in other movies, and I loved him in The Mouth of Madness.
Like what other movie?
He's in that movie where they're in space raping each other. Remember that?
Okay, Event Horizon. It's a great movie, and I wanted you to say it. You didn't even remember it.
Oh, dude, I remembered it because I was just about to bring it out of my mouth. There's only one movie that I really didn't enjoy him in, and it was the movie where he was in space with his face all cut up.
God, you didn't like Event Horizon?
Well, no, look, I've discovered I probably liked it from my teens into my 20s, but as I've gotten older, Tim, I've become like a huge in the fact that I don't like the gore anymore. A poet didn't know it. I'm not even going to check out these Terrifier flicks. I watched the first Terrifier, and when he spun the girl around upside down and started sawing through the all the way down to the neck, I was like, you know what? I was like, this is a little too much for me. I can't really deal with this.
I don't need perverted gore. Just give me the gore. Unless it's that mosquito movie where she gets the proboscis right in the butt.
I forgot about
that. And I would have been okay if that would have went anywhere. Like it's just a mosquito, it doesn't know. The thing I like about Event Horizon is that it's this future movie, and there's that opening scene where you're meeting the crew, and this dude's got newspaper clippings posted up of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm like, dude, and it's not a fake newspaper clipping. It's from the day. It's just weird. It's a weird little out of time, out of place prop.
I love about Event Horizon that they tried to flip the script on us. Instead of like hell being down below, they let everybody know that the hell's just in space.
Yep. In another in between 2 points in space. You got to be careful. Should we just talk about Event Horizon?
What is it with demons?
Sam Neill is good in that movie. So, got it.
What is it with the demons just wanting to whenever they come out of the realm? They're like
demons, I have never seen a horror movie where the demons have any kind of like stated motivation, right? Like there's either like a human person using the satanic power to, you know, have his own ends met, or it's just a bunch of just random demons like attacking people because that's what they're supposed to do.
What's the scariest type of movie for you?
The scariest type of movie?
The scariest, the horror genre that probably gives you the creeps the most.
It would have to be.
While you're thinking, Keys, we asked him this question the first ever 31 days on audio. And he said he didn't like possession, haunting movies or anything like that because there's nothing you can physically do. He said with like a slasher or a monster, you can at least try to square up. But with a haunting or a ghost, there's nothing you can do.
It's tough for me because I like if they're going to show you the creature, like if it's a monster movie, you know, or if it's like, you know, Puppet Master or something like that, or Critters, I'll get caught up in how cool or not cool your creature is. So it's not scary at all if any of that's involved. I would have to say it would have to be something along the lines of like a found footage or a poltergeist, even though I will never, like, those movies are stupid. Like I hate how they go from A to B to C. Like I can't stand them, but they're probably the scariest just because when something happens, you've been sitting there for 30 minutes waiting on it. And when it does happen, you know, it's like, ah.
So you hate found footage horror movies, but you probably love found footage pornos.
Yeah.
In the Mouth of Madness, Tim, you're a big reader. You're a big sci-fi guy. So in this movie, it starts off with Charlton Heston, who is the head of a book firm, and they call in like this investigator. I really don't know what his exact job is, but they want him to find this author that's gone missing called Sutter Kane. He's like a super popular author, even bigger than Stephen King is what they say in the movie. And he's gone missing, and they need to get his last book so they can put it out. The fans are clamoring for it. Now, Sam Neill plays, I think it's John Trent, and he has to find him. And he's a big proponent of like, this is the book company trying to get insurance money out of this. He thinks it's all staged, that Sutter Kane's going to pop up and it's part of some kind of big publicity campaign. And he quickly finds out that there's a lot of weird shit going on. For one, he's almost attacked and killed sitting in a restaurant by this crazy guy with an axe who asked him, "Do you read Sutter Kane?" in an obvious fake voice. This movie starts off with Sam Neill, John Trent, in an insane asylum. And he's in his padded room, and he's taken a crayon and he's got shapes all over the walls, and he's got them all over his face as the psychiatrist walks in and goes, "What's going on?" And he tells him and he's telling the entire story. So we know for a fact, spoiler warning, that he ends up in an insane asylum. He takes this chick on, I can't remember her name in the movie, but she played Regine the vampire in Fright Night 2 that we reviewed last week. And They try to find a town called Hobbs End. But there's no Hobbs End, Tim. They can't find it. Does not exist. And this is back in 94, the days of the road map. Right. Not even MapQuest. So he notices something on the cover of all these books because he is like the expert when it comes to investigation. He has all the books. I believe he reads all the books. I could be wrong on that. Tell me in the comments. Each cover has a shape. So he starts cutting out the shapes, and it's either Vermont or New Hampshire, wherever it is, but it's the shape of that state with a dot. They travel to where that dot would be on a map, and they find the town of Hobbs End.
And Charlton Heston's just sitting there.
No, Charlton Heston's the head of the book company. So
he's not the author.
No.
Oh.
Though
I did remember what Charlton Heston yelled when he's on the beach and he sees the giant Statue of Liberty in Planet of the Apes.
What? Okay, let me hear it.
Like he drops to his knees and he goes, "You bastards!"
So are we supposed to believe in Planet of the Apes? You know, that review's probably coming soon. That he traveled back or traveled to a future Earth?
Whatever. So the thing is, you know, they go to space, stuff happens. By the time they make it back to Earth, somehow it is aged way, way beyond whatever they've reached physically. So, yeah.
Okay. So and then at the end of it, they find out they're not on a planet of monkeys.
Right. They're like, crap, this is home.
Charlton Heston a good actor or not? Is he just the best of what they had back then? Was he larger than life, and that's the reason people consider him a great actor?
So he got a lot of mileage out of these Middle Eastern biblical or historical epics like Lawrence of Arabia, 10 Commandments, because he's got that face, right? Like he's got that voice where if he enunciates, that's all he got to do. He doesn't even have to act. So I guess, I don't know. He's in that scene in Wayne's World where he just, acts his ass off. Yeah.
He's like, man, we need a new actor in here. So he brings a new actor in. Oh, yes, that's right.
He kills it too.
Yes. So Sam Neill gets to this town and it's all fucked up, man. There's monsters, there's weird people. It's all characters from Sutter Kane's book. And eventually he does run into Sutter Kane, who lets him know, I'm Jesus. I'm the God now. Everything I write comes true. And I need you to deliver my final book back to civilization, because when people read this book, everything, it's like that's the end of the world. All the things I've written is going to come true. Something to that effect. I'm obviously paraphrasing. So Sam Neill tells him, I'm not delivering shit. And he leaves. There's a really creepy scene where like a kid on a bicycle comes by and she gets a look at him. And it's like an old man face, like a demon face or something like that. And then he's driving. And Blake also, all the time, Blake talks about how the scariest scenes to him are when you get the point of view of the car driving, and then all of a sudden something just appears in front of the headlights. Like there's a great scene in The Fog where Mustache Man is driving down the road, and you see Jamie Lee Curtis just come out of the bushes all of a sudden. So in this one, he's driving down the road, and all of a sudden you see the chick on the back of the bicycle with the creature thing. There's also an older couple there that's running like this inn before he finds out the whole town is just bum-fungled with craziness. And she's in the back like chopping up her old husband or her dead husband. And then she's some kind of monster or some shit like that. The guy that played Vigo in Ghostbusters 2, he's in this movie. He talks about how his kid turned into a monster and bit me in the face. And he's pretty much the one that explains to Sam Neill that, hey, get the hell out of here. This it's over. It's over.
You ever looked at that dude's life story?
No.
Vigos?
No.
Dude, he was like supposedly just super Hulk strongman.
Hold on a second. Start over and say, have you ever heard that guy's life story? Blah blah blah. Because you were like doing it now.
You ever heard that Vigo guy's like life story?
No.
Well, Ronnie, he was a big time strongman apparently. Like just this Hulk dude, like this Hulk SOB. He happened to be like a super violent individual, so he could never hold down steady work. Like Hollywood tried to make this guy something, but it just wouldn't work out for him.
He was too intense. I'm pretty sure Sutter Kane like snaps his fingers or something like that, and John Trent, Sam Neill wakes up on a train headed for New York. And when he gets to New York, he goes and tells Charlton Heston the whole story, and he's like, what are you talking about? We got the book 2 weeks ago or something like that. The book is out. People are reading it. They're going crazy. I remember there's something, there starts to be reports of mass hysteria and monsters. You get those cool little radio warnings. What does he try to do? He tries to kill somebody. Screw it. He tries to kill somebody and ends up in the insane asylum. So he finishes up. We finish up where we started with Sam Neill talking about, and that's my story. And the guy that played Lionel Luthor.
I'm sticking to it.
That's
my story.
Who's the guy that played Lionel Luthor?
Lionel Luthor?
Yeah.
I know who that is.
Smallville. Lex Luthor's dad.
I have no idea.
Anyway, he just deems him crazy. Sam Neill wakes up the next morning and all the power's out in the crazy house. His door's open. He wanders out. I mean, it's really, really creepy. You can hear monsters everywhere. He wanders into I believe it's a movie theater. And the whole deal is, as long as you don't read Sutter Kane, you're not going to be crazy. But for the people that don't read, there's now a movie out all of a sudden.
Oh, so nice.
He goes into the movie theater and he's laughing as he's watching the movie that we just watched. Because at the very beginning of it, he's got a great line where he hits one of the orderlies in the balls. And in the greatest Sam Neill voice, is like, sorry about the balls. That's In the Mouth of Madness, 1994. What do you rate it, Tim?
I'm going to rate this. I'm going to rate it a solid 6.5 out of 10.
Oh, that's blasphemy. This is, a lot of people talk about John Carpenter and how this, I mentioned it earlier in the review, might be his last masterpiece.
Could you argue that? What came after this?
Ghost of Mars, vampires. And I know people don't like vampires. We need to do a watch along of vampires because I think you would love it, Tim. I really am a huge fan of John Carpenter's vampires with James Caan and is it James Caan? No, it's James Woods. James Woods and one of the Baldwin brothers, the fat one. At the time, he was the fat one. They're all the fat one now. It's a really good movie about the Catholic Church working together with the vampires because the priests are scared of dying and stuff like that. And he's the ultimate vampire hunter for the Catholic Church. And he's going after the original vampire that started the strain. And the whole point of the movie is he goes, rule number 16, never leave a man behind, as they leave a man behind. So everything they say, they sort of do the opposite of. So it's
that's cool.
Yeah, it's like a good movie. I can see where people will point to it and say, hey, it doesn't flow like his other movies. Well, no, but I think it's a guy's guy movie. And it is played to perfection.
What's John Carpenter's best?
It depends on who you ask. People.
Okay, what's his most commercially
Well, the most commercially acceptable movie or profitable movie ever done has got to be Halloween. See, he's a victim of before his time. So Halloween made a ton of money. And
wait, who did Lord of Illusions? That was Clive Barker.
That was Clive Barker.
That was another dude who was running around doing horror movies at this time. Didn't Clive Barker do The Howling?
Let's see. I'll just put Clive Barker movies. Clive Barker movies. Hey, Manual in Space. He did not. He's got Nightbreed, Hellraiser, Lord of Illusions.
Hellraiser. That's the big one.
So you was asking about Carpenter. Halloween was probably his most profitable movie. He followed that up with, I think it was Escape from New York, or maybe it was The Fog. The Fog, in some ways, might even be better than Halloween. But once again, a movie that didn't make a lot of money. Escape from New York, I love it. I think everybody loves it. I think his best movie was The Thing. I honestly do. The Thing is a great movie. Have you seen it?
I was going to say that one because it's got a lot of staying power. I know he's made more money off the other stuff, but The Thing's still got wheels. Yeah,
I mean, looking back, people consider it one of the best sci-fi movies ever made. Then you've got Big Trouble in Little China that I'm a huge fan of that movie. I don't understand how that movie did not make or turn into a franchise. Well, obviously it's because it didn't make any money.
John Carpenter had Kurt Russell as his go-to.
Yeah.
James Cameron had Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yep.
Are there any other directors who kind of had a go-to actor where it mattered?
Martin Scorsese had, either De Niro.
Screw the artsy Sundance Festival guys.
David A. Pryor had his brother Ted Pryor.
Yes, the Pryor brothers. Same level. as what we're just talking about.
October the 14th. Tim, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for being a trooper. Everybody in the comments, hit us with what you wish we would have talked about when it came to In the Mouth of Madness. And I promise we'll revisit it later like we do every movie. Almost halfway through.